Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V. It's a 2-litre EX manual, finished in black, which always looks great on these cars, with the optional ivory leather interior, which looks absolutely stunning in combination. Car's covered just 41,000 miles, so a very low mileage one, and it's been kept very, very nicely indeed. I'll try and keep my shadow out of the way as much as I possibly can. Lights and lenses completely clear and intact. There's no cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet very clean, any stone chips are absolutely minor. Near side of the car, lovely and smooth in the panels. There's no obvious car parking dinks on there at all. Near side front alloy, lovely condition. Panels again, very, very clean. Near side rear alloy, lovely condition. From the back of the car, really nice and crisp. There's the offside, driver side of the vehicle, again very, very smooth in the panel work there. Offside rear alloy, again pretty much unmarked. Main panel's very good. The odd tiny little blemish which you're going to pick up on over 10 years of motoring, in all honesty, very clean and tidy car. Let's come into the boot area. Absolutely cavernous on the CR-Vs, and unlike so many which have been very heavily used, this one has got away with virtually hardly any use at all on the back. It's coming into the back, wide opening rear doors, enormous amounts of leg room, and you've got this gorgeous ivory leather interior. Looks absolutely stunning in the car. Come to the front and the passenger side, all very clean and tidy. Full set of original Honda mats in the vehicle, all in lovely condition as well. Passenger seat there, not been used terribly much. Screen on the driver's side, door card lovely and clean. Same footwell there is very clean and tidy. The driver's seat for a 10-year-old car has been kept very, very nicely indeed. So inside the car now, engine as always running, so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. Dashboard looks in beautiful condition. Sat nav you can see working exactly as it should there. Just pop the car to reverse, you can see the reverse parking camera likewise working exactly as intended. Come down the rest of the centre stack, all been kept absolutely beautifully. Excuse me while I just whiz up to the dashboard binnacle there. Hopefully you can see 41,121 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2-litre EX. Car's registered KV63XBX, and with a mileage of just 41,214 recorded. The reason we do all of our videos, and especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. The reason we've always felt it important is because, unfortunately, like lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out there's an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. So that's why we do it. We also do it on these very quiet country roads, this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. Even on a wet, miserable, horrible day like today, it still looks lovely. This actually forms part of the road test route that we take our customers on, and the hope is obviously that it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, low mileage, Hondas always drive well, and this one is no exception to that. Push button start, engine starts instantly, settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. The engines are just simply brilliant. You know, it's a classic Honda 4-cylinder engine. They've got a lovely smoothness. You just feel the engineering in the car because it's got a soft edge to the engine, but also a hard edge when you accelerate, sort of induction sound. all very muted, of course, because it's so refined on the move. But it's got sophistication which you just don't get in their competitors' engines. They are cam chain driven, by the way, so there's no cam belts to worry about on them, and they've got a reputation for reliability absolutely unmatched in its class, and that includes longevity as well. But yeah, wonderful units. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car, smooth, positive, bite point exactly where it's meant to be. The gearbox is your classic Honda gearbox, just a brilliant gear change. Gear changes are short and throw, they're snappy, they're precise, but it feels meaty, mechanical at the same time. It just shows other manufacturers exactly how to do something as good as this, because most in this type of car will give you something much more sort of clunky and agricultural, but this is just beautifully done, and it feels exactly as it would have done when it was new. There's just zero wear in it. So, and coming through to the steering and chassis of the car, Honda, were light years ahead of the competition in terms of when they first brought the CR-V out. It's such a car-like experience to drive. Again, most of its competitors, for many years afterwards even, were giving you SUVs that literally drove like commercial vans. And Hondas have always had this lovely feel to them. The steering is beautifully weighted, it's precise, it's accurate, but it never feels nervous on the road at all. These aren't, and they're not meant to be sports cars, but they do drive with a real sort of, they've got an energetic way about them. You change, you steer, and it's keen to change direction. It doesn't feel slovenly or reluctant in any way. And it flows through corners really, really nicely. The steering, by the way, tracks nice and straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. Suspension, again, there's absolutely no noises from underneath, no rattles, no clonks, nothing at all. It feels as tight as a drum on the road, and what it gives you is a very compliant, very well judged ride. But when you go through corners like the one I'm coming up to now, with the steering, hardly any turn in, just follows absolutely faithfully with just no drama. There's no kind of lurching and lolloping about through the corners. It's just done superbly, it really is. Because the problem with a lot of these cars, again, because they are taller, you can't defy physics. So some manufacturers go for a very stiff ride to compensate for that, but they're really jarring. Others go for the other way to give you a soft, pillowy ride, which can feel initially very nice, but then you drive the car, go through some corners, and they just lurch about, and they're particularly nauseating, especially for rear seat passengers. But Honda just managed to keep it all in check, just brilliantly well. Brakes, by the way, fantastic on the car. There's no pulsing, no vibrations. They bite nicely as well. So all in good order. Worth pointing out, it's going to be heading off for an independent MOT either later today or tomorrow. So all these things are going to be checked anyway, on top of the checks that we do. Then coming inside the car, and this is the perfect day to show off the interior. I love this ivory the ivory leather in here, because on really horrible, dull days, drizzly, mizzly, yucky days like today, in the, I love black leather interior, by the way, so don't think I don't. But this just still feels bright in here. You don't get that kind of gloominess that you get with black leather. But also on red, hot summer's days, it doesn't get that oven-like interior temperatures either. It really is a gorgeous interior. It's been kept really nicely. Also beautifully put together. No squeaks, no rattles, absolutely rock solid in here, as is the case with pretty much all CR-Vs. They are beautifully bolted together cars. Great places to sit as well. You've got easy to get the perfect driving position. The seats themselves are very, very comfortable indeed, very supportive. The visibility out of the car is exceptional, because it's all about giving confidence on the move. Again, Honda are brilliant at that. They don't want you to feel intimidated driving the car, and you don't. You just get in. You've got huge wing mirrors to give you great vision all around the car when you're on the move or manoeuvring. When I look ahead, I can actually see the bonnet of the car, which quite often you can't on modern cars because the dashes are too high. But this is just brilliantly done, and the dash layout is again very user friendly. Sat nav working perfectly, of course. Very simple to use. Likewise, the dual zone climate control system, which allows you different temperatures side to side if you so wish. As with all Hondas, every button you press, everything you twist or turn has a wonderfully damped, high quality feel to it. It's satisfying to operate these cars, it really is. And then your dash binnacle in front, information display, again, just beautiful detailing of the gauges, which means you get the information, you look away very quickly indeed. You don't have just got to squint to try and get the information you want. And finally, you've got this lovely small diameter leather bound steering wheel, which feels great in hand. This is, by the way, a 4-wheel drive CR-V, albeit you'll notice a complete absence of buttons or anything to operate it because it does it automatically. Honda worked out very, very early on that the vast majority of their customers will be driving as I am right now, where you don't need 4-wheel drive on. It's a complete waste of time. So basically it runs in 2-wheel drive, front-wheel drive pretty much the whole time. Only if it needs to go into 4-wheel drive will it do so, but it reacts far more quickly than you could ever do yourself because it's done through the traction control system of the car. So if you were to pull away on sort of snow, mud or ice or something similar, initially you'd feel the wheel start to move, and then suddenly it's almost like someone pushing you in the back. It's fantastic in operation. We've used it on ours for donkey's years. It's a fantastic, really excellent system. The advantages of it are blindingly obvious. You're going to get through your tyres less quickly, you're going to use less fuel, and you put far less mechanical stress to the vehicle than a permanent 4-wheel drive system would do. The car drives absolutely beautifully. It really does. Cannot fault it in any way.